10 years ago, a half-starved dog crawled under a porch to survive the winter. She found him shivering, ribs showing, too weak to even growl. She saved him that night. But last spring, in the middle of a quiet, ordinary night, it was that same dog who saved her back. And what he did in those few minutes still gives people chills. Stick around, because the science behind what happened is something even doctors are only starting to understand. Her name was Margaret. She was 68, recently widowed, living alone in a small house at the edge of town. The dog she found that winter was scrawny, matted, and terrified of hands. She named him Gus. Vets guessed he was maybe 2 years old, dumped or lost. Nobody ever came looking. For the first few weeks, he wouldn't sleep anywhere near her. He'd hide behind the couch. He flinched at raised voices, at fast movements, at the sound of a door slamming too hard. But Margaret was patient. She sat on the kitchen floor every evening with a bowl of food just far enough away that he had to choose to come closer. And little by little, he did. Within a year, Gus wasn't hiding behind the couch anymore. He was sleeping across her feet. He followed her from room to room like a shadow that had decided to stay. Here's the part that people don't expect. The bond didn't stay quiet. It grew teeth, in the best way. Gus became the kind of dog who noticed everything. When Margaret's husband passed away 3 years later, neighbors said Gus wouldn't leave her side for weeks. He slept pressed against her back every night. He refused his own dinner some days until she ate first. It was devotion nobody trained him to have. He just decided, on his own, that this was his job now. And that brings us to the night everything changed. It was just past 2 in the morning last April. Margaret had gone to bed feeling fine, a little tired maybe, but nothing unusual. Gus, who normally slept curled at the foot of the bed, suddenly stood up. He started pacing. Then he did something he had never done before in 10 years. He climbed onto the bed, planted his front paws on her chest, and began barking directly in her face. Margaret woke up disoriented, her heart pounding in a strange, uneven rhythm she'd never felt before. She'd later learned she was in the early minutes of a cardiac event, an irregular heartbeat that, left alone, could have quietly turned fatal in her sleep. But Gus wouldn't stop. He barked, he nudged, he practically dragged the blanket off her. She said it felt less like a dog panicking and more like a dog insisting. She managed to reach her phone. Paramedics arrived within 11 minutes. At the hospital, doctors confirmed what her body had already been telling her: a serious arrhythmia, one that, combined with her age and medical history, put her at real risk that night. They told her the timing mattered enormously. A few more minutes undetected, and the story might have ended very differently.
And here's the part that gets us every time. Gus had never done anything like that before, not once in a decade. So why that night? Why him? This is where the science gets fascinating. Researchers studying dogs and medical detection have found that dogs can pick up on subtle changes humans can't consciously notice. Shifts in scent caused by chemical changes in sweat and breath, changes in breathing patterns, even micro changes in body temperature and heart rhythm they can sense through touch and smell alone. Studies on diabetes alert dogs have shown some animals can detect blood sugar changes with startling accuracy, sometimes before a glucose monitor does. Cardiologists have documented similar patterns in dogs reacting to heart irregularities in their owners, well before any obvious symptoms appear. Nobody fully understands the entire mechanism yet, but the pattern shows up again and again in real cases all over the world. For Gus, there was no training, no certification, no vest that said service animal, just 10 years of paying close, quiet attention to the person who once sat on a kitchen floor and waited for him to trust her. Margaret recovered. She's on medication now, sees her cardiologist regularly, and says she feels better than she has in years. And Gus, now 12 years old himself, a little gray around the muzzle, still sleeps at the foot of her bed every night. Except now, she says, she sleeps a little more soundly because she knows if anything ever felt wrong again, he'd know before she did. When people ask her about that night, she doesn't talk about the ambulance or the hospital lights. She talks about the way he looked at her right before he started barking, like he already knew, and he was simply waiting for her to catch up. There's a saying that goes around in rescue communities: you don't just save a dog, the dog saves you back, just usually in ways you don't expect. Margaret used to think that was just something people said to make themselves feel good about adopting. Now she knows better. If this story touched you even a little, we'd love to hear about the animal in your own life who somehow always seems to know. Has a pet of yours ever sensed something was wrong before you did? Tell us in the comments. We read every single one. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be seen by more people, hit that like button and consider subscribing. It genuinely helps us keep finding and sharing stories exactly like Margaret and Gus's.